also worked with agents. Like this is my first time talking to agents. Previously, I've only worked with like homeowners or calling homeowners. So a little bit different, kind of a different game, a different atmosphere when talking to agents. So it was very good to kind of have that as like a training kind of aspect, and just using that to um, work on my skills, and then work on what to say, and like how to get them to want to work with us and all that kind of stuff. So it was very good.
Awesome. So you're calling agents. That's kind of like sort of a new thing for you. You did it last no person left behind challenge.
Yeah.
What's it called? No person
No
left
one,
behind.
no one
No one
left
left
behind.
No one left behind. And you're starting to really get more comfortable calling agents.
Yep.
Do you have like a script or a set of questions that you're trying to get answered for them?
So we were giving like a very just generic script, but obviously you don't want to just stick to a script. You just want to approach it as just a normal conversation. So I had a couple like questions that I would use from the script that were good, but otherwise I wasn't trying to just like follow the script and make it sound like I was reading off of something.
That's really good.
Yep.
Nobody likes a robot, right?
No, seriously. And yeah, you can easily tell when you're being fake. So I was just using that kind of as just like suggestions, and then from there I would just obviously say it, and how I speak usually.
So what would qualify the agent / the property to go from cold to book the next appointment? Like how would you qualify that?
Well, see, these aren't really cold agents. I mean, some of them are, but the point of the challenge is you're sending out letters of intents to the agents, and then from there, hopefully, you're getting a response from them. Like they're saying, like, oh, okay, well, we can like work something out with this, or I'm interested in hearing more. And so from there, I would, which most of the time I actually I don't even think I got an agent that was like responded to one of our letter of intents and was like let me hear more. I was always the ones that were like pretty much cold calling them and saying like, hey, I'm interested in buying it. My team sent you like an offer. Did you see it? And then kind of start the conversation from there. So if the way it would transition into the next step is if there was obviously a good sense of motivation from the seller's end, or if they're having any kind of issues with anything where they're looking to sell. So the typical stuff that we learn in sub 2, where there has to be some kind of pain, some kind of motivation that they're in a need to sell, and not just they're just putting the house on the market and seeing what offers they get. So and the other biggest thing is that they were interested in uh, something besides like a typical cash offer. So trying to introduce like the creative finance, the sub 2 idea to them without like introducing it.
Yeah, got it. So you're the first contact, right, that this realtor is having outside
Yep.
of the email. And you were saying that most realtors were like, I haven't even seen your email. Is that true or false?
Varies. A lot of them said that they didn't get the email. Maybe we had the emails wrong, because obviously everything comes from I think that we get it from PropStream. I don't know how we get the data from, but I guess maybe sometimes the emails are incorrect. Or also I've noticed some of the agents I talk to, they go in spams, or a lot of them got the email and they're like, oh yeah, we're not interested in sub 2 at all. And so yes, most of I was probably about 80% of the calls I had with agents, they either did not get our letter of intent, or they got it and they were just not interested in it. So then my job from there was to kind of will be like, okay, well, like just kind of like get like still like get like the ball rolling, like keep them like interested, see if like we can maybe be a an option to them to help them out somehow, and somehow get them to that next step where I could set up an appointment with my teammates.
Cool. What's your opener? How do you open these calls?
Most of the time I'll be like, hey Bill, this is Plamen. I'm checking out your listing on 345 Avenue. I'm looking to buy a long-term rental in the area. I saw this is a very beautiful house, and I wanted to find out more about it. So tell me what's going on with the situation.
How like what's the most common objective or objection to that opening?
The common objection to that opening, I think from a lot of times the agents would maybe understand that I'm an investor right away, and then they would instantly say like, oh, you're gonna offer me like some kind of like subject to, or like something like that crazy, and then from there I have to be like, well, I'm not even really sure what you're talking about. Like I'm just looking to like rent this out. So I kind of have to like lie, you kind of have to go around it that way. But I guess the most common objection, to answer your question, would be that they maybe get a sense of that since I'm saying I'm looking to buy it as a rental, that I'm an investor, and maybe in their mind they're already like, this guy, he's either gonna lowball me or gonna offer something crazy.
Okay. You want to play a little game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, if that's the most common objection, which I would agree, because of your opening statement, that is like immediately you're going to shut people down. Like they're just they're going to put their little lead blanket over the conversation, and you'll never be able to really get through to them.
Okay.
So, if that is your most common objection, how do you get around that? How do you cure that objection disease before they even get it?
Well, don't say that I'm looking at it as a long-term rental, I guess, right away.
Okay, that's one. What else? Give me some more.
Maybe also approach it like I'm like a traditional buyer. Maybe be like, I saw I'm looking online at your listing, and I'm interested in buying it.
Do you think you're using investor jargon when you're having these calls?
I mean, I don't think so. Maybe a little bit, because I go into like what I'm trying to get out of it. But also, like, I've never even like talked to an agent like for my own like sake, like for my purpose. Like I've never talked to an agent to like say like I'm interested in the house, like just for myself, So maybe
Okay.
I don't know maybe the difference, and that's why maybe that's why I'm not seeing it that way.
I think this is great, right? So you have an investor cap, which you're wearing when you're making these phone calls, and that investor cap influences what comes out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have this Plamen cap that is not on your head. It sits over here on the shelf, and you've actually never put it on to talk to an agent.
Yeah.
This hat over here is like, I'm gonna say this, don't be offended. This has the knowledge of a third grader when it comes to real estate, because you only know what you've been taught through the investor hat.
Yep.
What do you think would happen if you put on Plamen hat and had the investor cap next to you, so that now you can talk to them like a person, but you could also use your knowledge because you have this investor cap close to you?
Well, that's what I tried to do. but I guess I don't. Maybe I don't. Maybe I still can improve on it. I tried to approach it as literally just someone that is just having a normal conversation with them. I'm not trying to approach it as like an investor conversation because I know that's instantly not going to work.
That opening line is very investory.
Okay, so how can I make it not less just a normal opening line?
Become a toddler, right?
Mm-hmm.
A toddler sees something, and what do? If they don't understand it, what's the first thing a toddler is going to do? If they're like, "Oh, I don't get this," exactly. You're looking at this property. What's the big glaring reason you're calling this property?
Because I'm interested.
What makes it a good property for subject to? What's the flag?
What makes it a good property for subject to? That's low equity.
Okay. That's an investor term, right? Is there any other things that you can see just using Zillow?
It's mostly brand new, a newer house.
Okay, cool. And it's for sale again.
For sale, yeah.
So are these things on market for a long time, or is it just the low equity portion that is being drawn out?
Some of them have more days than others, but a lot of them are also have been on market for a week or two.
Cool. Cool. So the big thing is they're low equity and they're for sale again.
Yes, the biggest thing, yeah.
Awesome. So if you don't know anything about PropStream and all that stuff, if you just have your regular hat on,
Yeah.
and you're looking at this property and you're just using Zillow, and you see, oh man, this house was just purchased 6 months ago, and it's for sale again. In my mind, if I didn't have my investor cap on it, I'd be like, huh, what's up with what happened? What's going on here?
Right.
Right. So what do you think the outcome would be if you were the realtor and I called you up and I said, ring, 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 and you answered,
Hello?
hey, is this Plamen?
Yeah.
Hey, I was just looking at Zillow and I was kind of interested in the house on 345 Street. What's going on with that house? What would you say?
What do you mean what's going on with the house?
Oh, like, I don't know. I was just looking at all the things that Zillow provides, and it just, somebody just moved in and now they're moving out. Like, what happened there? Is there like a ghost or something? Like, what's going on there? Like, it is, what happened? Why? Like, I'm confused. I don't want to start looking at this house if there's some unknown thing. Like, what's happening? And you would say,
nothing's happening. Just my sellers were looking to sell it to begin with, and then they backed out, and now they're just looking to resell it again. That's it.
oh, cool. So there's no ghosts. There's no one died in the house. They just get a different job somewhere else, and that's why it's back on the market.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't get a different job. No, they're just looking to relocate. They thought it was the time to do it previously, and now they're actually motivated, or now they're actually determined to relocate and ready for it.
Got it. Oh man, that's got to be tough to just buy a house and then have to resell it again when they're probably going to lose money, right?
I don't know. Who knows if they'll lose money? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, I'd be interested in the house, but I don't know if it's going to make sense for me to pay cash because they're probably going to lose money if I pay cash for it. And that's what I'd be interested in paying cash, but I just don't think they're going to make enough money. They'll probably end up losing money because they're going to be paying your commissions out too. And they just bought the house and now they got to resell it. So I'm guessing it's probably not going to work for them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can offer whatever offer you want to make, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, show me what you got.
So the house is listed for what, 300?
Yeah, 320.
Okay, so it's listed for 320. Well, I don't think my cash offer is not, it's not going to be anywhere near that. Honestly, it's, you know, I've got cash, but I want to make sure I'm spending it wisely. Uh, do you want me to give you my cash offer? Like, I can give it to you, but I don't think they're gonna like it. It's not. It probably won't make sense for them.
No, it's okay. I actually want you to come in and see the property first, so then we can see each other face to face, and then you can we can go from the offer. When can you come over and see it?
I can send you my Zoom link and we can chat over Zoom. What day makes sense for you?
How come you don't want to come and see the property?
I'm super busy. I want to make sure it makes sense for us to work together before I come and check out this property, because if you're not going to accept my cash offer, like, I don't know. I'd like to get to know you and really understand why the property is being sold.
Okay, well, you can just let me know when you can see the property, because it might sell very quickly. So if you don't act fast, then it might sell.
Well, if you think it's going to act fast, then I can just send you an offer today. I actually don't even live in the state. We're thinking about either buying this as an investment property or a rental or something. Like I said, I've got money in my account, but I just need to use it wisely.
Yeah. Hey, all right. You can, like I said, you can send the offer, and we'll go from there.
Cool. If I send you an offer and it's cash, you promise not to be offended by my offer?
I don't get offended by anything.
Cool. If they or you say no to the cash offer, can we still have a conversation on what happens next?
We'll see. As long if you're not wasting my time, we can go and have more conversations.
Cool. That's great. What's your email so I can send this out to you?
Okay. I see what you were doing.
Those were good rebuttals. The why don't you come meet me in person? That threw me off a little bit.
Yep.
Oh man.
Well, I've gotten that so many times. They're instantly like, "Well, just come in and see the property before you buy it." They're like, "How can you even give me an offer without even seeing the property?" So then I'm like, "Well, actually, I work with a business partner who works in that area, so I would have to get with him, and then we see it then." But right now, I'm just trying to understand if it's even a good fit for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard one to maneuver around.
Seriously.
I also find, and I've learned this, just because someone asks you a question, you have no obligation to answer it.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you asked me a question, I didn't answer your question.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I've got to answer their question, and then I can go ask mine." Like, I don't have to answer your question.
Yep.
Or like, why do you want me to come see it just to make an offer? Like, your pictures are really good. Like, what's the reason I have to come see it? You took really great pictures. I understand what the property looks like.
Well, I think that whole thing, I guess, for an agent side of it, is that they want to, like, that's just what they're used to. I guess that's just how they know. Like, usually, they're probably getting all of their offers in person from like local people, local buyers. So I guess that's just like they're just comfortable with it. Maybe they don't feel comfortable with accepting an offer online.
I wonder if the best rebuttal to that question, because I don't like the whole Zoom thing. Like, that was, like I said, you threw me off a little bit with that one. So like, maybe that was okay. I think the better response would have been, have you ever worked with somebody that lives out of state?
Yep, that's a good question.
Right?
Then you're being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, have you ever worked with anybody that lives out of state? Because I live out of state. Totally like disarms that objection.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good. I learned something today.
That's
Thank you.
very good. I like that as well. You gotta write that down. I think
That's
honestly,
cool.
questions like that, I think we don't even. I mean, I think the whole point of these sales calls is to ask like dumb questions, but I think like we just maybe not just it doesn't like hit us like in the moment.
What do you mean?
Like how like that was just like a simple, like a very just simple question. But like it like for me it wouldn't like really hit me like in the moment to ask that. Like I would think of how I can counter that objection that they just asked by giving them a solution instead of re-asking them another question, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's like the investor cap that we had on before of like, oh, my business partner lives here and here and here. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to say, but that's an investor hat answer as
Yeah,
opposed to a non-dynamical, a non-answer of like,
right.
have you ever worked with anybody out of state? Like, I can't just come look at this thing.
So I was a very good scenario. The only thing is eventually I will have to loop back into saying that I work with a team because eventually the main goal of these calls is to get them to talk to someone else. So I understand like the approach of how you're approaching it, of just a very basic conversation. They don't know that I'm an investor, but eventually they're going to have to understand, or they're going to become aware that I am a part of some kind of investor like partnership, and that will transfer them. So how can I like kind of like loop that into all that as well?
Um, so are you submitting cash offers before anything else? Like, is that your MO?
So we are submitting in the LOI, in the letter of intent, it's a sub two offer, and without saying it's a sub two offer, and a cash offer. Those are the two options. And obviously the cash offer is just a very low
Cash
ball.
offer.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So I think because so many people are doing the no one left behind
Yeah.
challenge, people are getting like agents are getting slammed with these like with the generic routes of, oh, did you get the email? Like, oh
Mm-hmm.
man. And that's probably going to be pretty off-putting to
Yep.
agents to have that same conversation over and over again.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to differentiate somehow.
Yes, that's the whole name of the game.
100%.
I was talking with somebody the other week about pre-foreclosures, and they were having kind of like the same issue. Like, how do I make myself sound different if I'm just sending a text? And we kind of came up with the solution of like, okay, what is the most immediate problem of that person who's in foreclosure or pre-foreclosure?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about all sorts of problems they're having, but the most immediate one comes back to the same issue that we're talking about with these agents. They're all getting bombarded by the same exact messaging.
Mm-hmm.
And what we came up with was simply sending out a message of saying to these pre-foreclosures and foreclosures of how annoying are all those text messages you're getting from people trying to buy your house.
Right. So yeah, actually like facing the issue.
Yeah. Like here's the issue I know you're having. How annoying is this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there's an approach here for the same thing as an investor, right? Like, hey, how annoying are those emails that you've been getting and those sub two offers that you've been getting? Because I know you've been getting them. How annoying are they?
Yeah, but doesn't that also bring the assumption that you're just one of them?
It does, but it also empathizes with the fact that they're just getting blasted with the same messaging all over and over again. And people, they're picking up the phone and people are saying the same things over and over again. So you're like, hey, I bet you're getting a lot of these really annoying phone calls of people saying the same thing, giving you a low cash offer and a creative finance deal. And they'll be like, oh my God, Yeah, I am. And you're like, yeah, I can imagine that is really been a pain in the butt for you. And just like forget about the sale.
Yeah,
Just go into like, oh, like tell me more about how much that sucks.
yeah, yeah. Okay, totally understand that.
Because
So
now they're opening up to you.
where would I implement that? Would that be just right away?
Good. I mean, that's circumventing the whole thing. Just like,
Yeah.
hey, you're getting all these calls. How much does that suck? How annoying is that? Then if they say no, it's like, wow, that's incredible. I know that I know 20 investors who are calling and saying the same thing to people. And I tell them like, hey, you're annoying people a lot. You should probably not do that as much and say the same thing every time.
Yeah.
And just like, because then you're disarming them, you're empathizing with them, but they still know that you are an investor as well.
Yeah.
My guess, eventually they're going to be like, why are you calling me? And they'll be like, well, I just wanted to know, is there anything I could do to help you guys with this house? Like, is there a situation? What's the situation? Like, is this a dire need to sell the house?
Hmm. Yeah. I actually really love that.
It's a fun way to really catch people off guard.
I agree.
It's kind of like
Because
tarring and feathering yourself, and then be like, "Hey, look at me."
Yep. Because and then that makes you stand out. Then if everyone's giving them that same exact phone call every day, asking the same stuff and wanting the same outcome, I'm coming in there just approaching it in a totally different way, not even talking about anything to do with my offer or how I'm approaching it, but just literally just focusing on the fact that that I'm just essentially just like throwing everyone under the bus and like asking them how it makes them feel.
Exactly. I mean, think about it from like a dating perspective, or like going to a bar. That's what I can relate to, right?
Yep.
If there's a pretty girl at the bar for me, and you're just sitting watching, and all the drunk people are all coming up to this girl, and they're all saying the same thing. They've all got their silly pitch.
Yep.
But if you got like, wow, I was just observing everybody for the past hour. I'm sorry that happened to you. That looked really frustrating. And now that opens up a conversation, because that person's like, yeah, that was horrible. I didn't like it. Like, that was really annoying. And now you can have a conversation, a real one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally different change in perspective.
I like it. I'm excited.
Like it
do you record your calls?
I don't have a way to, because I do them through my cell phone. I guess what I could do is open up a recorder app on my laptop and then have the phone on speakerphone.
Yeah. Just try using Google Meet. You can use that. That's free, or Zoom, and just open up Zoom and have it on speakerphone, and then make sure your transcripts are on.
How am I supposed to call people? Like through Google Meet, it won't be like my actual number.
No, you'll call with your cell phone or whatever you're using, right?
Oh, so then, have like Google Meet, or have Google Meet on my cell phone.
No, or just your computer. If you can sit at your computer and be on your phone at the same time.
Yeah.
Just record yourself calling. Have your phone on speakerphone. And then the Google Meet or the Zoom will pick up both conversations.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so just how I thought that would work.
Yeah.
Okay.
And have you heard of ChatGPT? Obviously, you've heard of that, right?
Yeah, of course.
So there's a new thing I just started looking into. It's free. It's a Google product. It's called, what is it called? Notebook. Have you heard of a Notebook LM?
No, I've not.
Yeah, so notebooklm.google. It's very similar. It uses Gemini, which is Google's chat thing,
Yeah.
but it's like ChatGPT can like really hallucinate, right? It can do all sorts of stuff, but it can also go off the rails.
Yep.
What I like about Notebook LM is it's a notebook, right? And you can put all of your notes in it, especially if we're doing it this way and you're transcribing them.
Mhm.
You can put all of your call notes transcribed into one little notebook. And then you can do a couple of things. You can say, analyze all of these and tell me the pros and the cons of what I did great, what I can do better. You can also, which I think this is the really interesting thing that it does, is you can tell it to do something and then it'll generate this like podcast type of conversation between two AIs about the information that you just fed it.
That's crazy.
It's incredibly interesting.
That's crazy.
I fed it my website for how I help people with contacts and conversations. It came up with a 37-minute podcast talking about the pros and cons of what I do. And it was mind-blowing. All I did was feed it my website.
Huh. Like, and it actually is in a video format, and it like
No, it's a podcast style. So it's just audio.
oh, so it's just audio, and then this is just obviously just like a robotic voice.
They sound really good.
Yeah.
But there's two of them. It's like they're conversing with each other about the information and like giving insights, and it's wild, dude. I'm gonna do it. That's why I recorded this call. I recorded this call because I wanted to try it for the first time with like a actual call.
Yeah.
And I hope I did transcripts. I don't know. We'll see if I mess this one up. But because I want to see like what its takeaway, because that's what it does. It's like a 2-person review of the thing, and you can kind of tell it, give it some structure on how to review it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then then you don't have to like re-listen to your calls all over again. You can just walk around and listen to the podcast about your phone calls.
Actually, now that you say that, I remember for actually my one of my meetings with my team, we did it through Google Meet, and someone activated, I think, that portion where it could read like take notes and transcribe your meeting, and like gave you a report at the end of the meeting, but you had to like pay for it.
Similar but different.
Uh-huh.
This is like that on steroids.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that it actually like creates content for you and describes exactly what you it gives you feedback, honestly.
That's what it's doing. It's giving you like robot to robot feedback.
That's crazy.
So I don't know. I just started using this like a few days ago, and I spent all day on the airplane. Like I downloaded 1,000 videos and just watched how people are using it, and I am super, super interested. And like you can use it to make podcast content about like I can make a podcast about this call you and I are having, where it's not specifically this call, it's a podcast about this call.
Yeah, I'm on the website right now. I definitely will look more into it.
I would say check it out. I think it's going to be really helpful.
That's crazy. And all I have to do is just log in through my Google account.
It's free. It's free. It's Google changing our lives again, sucking us into their weird world of stuff.
Yep, seriously. Always sucking ourselves into their lives. We live by Google now.
I have been in the Google ecosystem since like 2006, and I can't imagine life without it.
I graduated with an IT degree, and our biggest thing is Google is your best friend.
Right? Yeah, if you can't be friends with Google, you need to just get a different, go to a different planet or something.
That's what my college degree was for. Just know that Google's there for you.
How to be friends with Google degree.
Exactly. How to be friends with Google. that's a spin-off.
Cool. So this should be kind of like you should understand and really be able to take and run with the Google LM thing if you have backgrounds in being friends with Google.
Oh yeah. I'll figure it out easily for sure.
Awesome.
Play around with it. I'll be good.
Cool. When do you want to chat next?
We can do next month. We can do some Friday if you have like a around lunchtime this time, or I can do Monday as well.
December 18th. Let's see. What's the 18th? That's not a Friday. Oh my gosh, this is getting too close. So I'm moving out of my house on the 22nd, and we're leaving for the Outer Banks in North Carolina to get married the next same day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's terrifying. There's like we have no idea where we're moving yet, so it's like it's all very, very interesting.
You have no idea where you're moving, but you're planning to move.
Yeah, we told our landlord we're not renewing our lease. We're over it. We're moving.
That's insane. But do you have like at least like some kind of like states in mind or areas?
We've got a few, and they keep rotating, and it's really frustrating because we both work remote, so we can go anywhere, which is a problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, which is also good because at least you're not just bided by one area because you have to get a job there.
Correct. I know it's great. We just go somewhere and pick up.
Are you just gonna move somewhere without like knowing the area?
It's either going to be Asheville, North Carolina, or Colorado Springs, or there's probably a curveball in there somewhere that we haven't even thought about.
I've never been to Asheville. I've been to North Carolina, other parts of North Carolina. I've heard Asheville is very, very beautiful.
It is. It's a cool little town of like 100,000.
Yep.
There's so many cool things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you want to do a Friday, you say?
Well, if you can't a Friday, because maybe my plans will also change on the weekend.
I can do the 13th. Friday the 13th.
No, I can't do. Oh wait, I'm looking at November.
December.
I might have a weekend. I might be planning something that weekend.
Okay. You want to do Monday or Tuesday, the 9th or the 10th?
How about the 16th?
Cool. Great. 11 to 12?
Lunchtime. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do 11 to 12.
Yep. Or can we do
let's do half hour. Okay. Yeah, let's do 11:30 to 12. How about that? Yeah. Let's just do 30 minutes. So what did we say? I just changed it. 16th? Is that what you said?
16th, yes, on the Monday, 11:30.
Yeah, 11:30 a.m. to 12.
Yep.
12 p.m. Cool.
How have your goals been going? I know last time we talked, you told me your goal is to get about 3 to 4 calls a day. So what is that? About 21 calls a week with appointments, and then you also want to post in the group once a day.
So I have not been posting once a day, but I'm going to get back onto it because I know I was traveling and I didn't want to.
Right.
It was going to be a mess.
For sure.
But so far today, I've had 2 calls. I have a third in the next 20 minutes, and then I've got 2 more later today. So I've been mostly above 3 calls a day. So it's been good. Yeah.
That's good. So you're hitting your goals.
I am. I'm going to keep looking at my this week because I think my this week got kind of light because of last week. So that's what I'm going to do is book up my the rest of this week and the week after that.
Awesome. And what's your goal for next month then?
Same thing. That's just my goals is to just book as many things as I can a day and still have time to do other stuff, because if I'm not talking to people, I'm not solving their problems.
Mhm.
So that's what I got to do. I got to solve some problems.
I love that, and I agree with that.
Cool, dude. All right. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed our role play, and I'll let you know if I did the transcript on this, and I'll send you the podcast thing that comes out with
Yeah, that'd be awesome. No, yeah,
Cool.
I appreciate you for helping me out. That was a tremendous help and giving me advice, and I'm looking forward to look into the notebook, that LM.
Cool. And if you want to help me reach my goal, you can just make a post in the Sub2 group about how interesting or not interesting our call was today, and I'll put my calendar link up there if you do that.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I can do that for you.
Awesome. Talk to you soon.
All right, appreciate it, man. See ya.